I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Morganton City Council, January the 5th, 2026 to order, please. Do we have any public comments, Renee? Okay. At this time, I'd like to recognize a guest in the audience, Easton Clerk, if you'll please stand up. Easton is in the back of the room. He is serving as a cohort with Appalachian State through Gear Up. He's here observing government in action. Easton, welcome to the meeting. This time I'll call on Molly. If Molly McKay will lead us in the pledge to the flag, if you'll please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd like to call on Reverend Andrew Weiser of the New Covenant Lutheran Church to lead our invocation.
Let us pray. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe. You have blessed us with the gift of life. We thank you for this good land. Thank you for crops, livestock, providing for our basic needs. Thank you for means of transportation, taking food from place to place, home to home, where it is needed by your people. We thank you for our communities, for our homes, our school, government, and services. Thank you for all institutions contributing to us for a better quality of life. We thank you for governing councils and for this council. We ask that you will continue to guide them in the ways of goodness, in truth, justice, and peace, granting to them confidence that their work is a blessing to this community. As we are all, Lord, in many ways abundantly blessed, use us all to be means of blessing to others. Amen.
Amen. Reverend Weister, thanks so much. This time we have some service pins to present. Our first service pin is for Sharon Jablonski for 35 years, who's the Director of Culture and Creative Development. I'll ask Pro Tem Wendy Cato to make that presentation, please.
Has it only been 35 years?
Just I was 10 when I started.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been there along the way for many of the years that you have been here, and when we think that you're winding down, you come up with something new, and that makes our downtown, makes our city better for it. And so on behalf of the council and on behalf of the citizens, congratulations for 35 years. Thank you.
Sharon?
I will just say that Rob promised me this would be much bigger so I could read it. I think there was a mistake. I will say this, I really appreciate you folks letting me stay, and as long as I can contribute and give 110%, I'd like to continue doing so, just for a little while longer. So, thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. We have some retirees in the audience. I have a resolution honoring those retirees. Our first resolution is honoring Josiah Brown. I'd like to read that resolution. Whereas Josiah Brown joined the City of Morganton's Public Safety Department as a public safety officer on August the 8th, 2000, and whereas Josiah Brown has faithfully served and given of his time and efforts in service to the citizens of the City of Morganton for 25 years and 1 month, and whereas throughout his tenure, Josiah Brown has upheld the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, and courage. And whereas Josiah Brown has served in multiple capacities within the Department of Public Safety, demonstrating exceptional commitment to public safety and community well-being. And whereas Josiah Brown's dedication has positively impacted countless lives, reflecting a deep personal investment in making the City of Morganton a safer place for all residents. And whereas Josiah Brown is a trusted friend and compassionate leader, approaching each situation with empathy, professionalism, and a deep commitment to justice and service. and whereas Josiah Brown positively influenced his colleagues and the community he served throughout his career, and upon his retirement, he leaves behind a legacy of encouragement, dedication, a high work ethic, and selfless service. And whereas Josiah Brown retired from the city of Morganton as a Captain 3 in the Morganton Department of Public Safety on January 1st, 2026, and whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Josiah Brown and express their appreciation for his leadership, service, and a job well done, now therefore be it resolved by the city of Morganton that the mayor present this resolution to Josiah Brown in recognition of his dedicated service and lasting contributions to the city of Morganton. Adopted this 5th day of January 2026. Bonnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager. I'll ask Councilman Butch McSwain if he'll make that presentation.
Oh, you're smiling. Which I'll have to say you always do, you sure do. And when I listened to this, the one line that really struck me, knowing you, is the positive influence. And you have really been to the community and to the department. Thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you for everything. It's been a blessing to work for the city. They've been good to me. And it was a blessing to work for Sally all these years, all of them. And the city's very fortunate to have her. And Sharon, congratulations on 35 years. Again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Stay. You don't get to leave yet.
I'll ask council for a motion for that resolution, please.
So moved.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
I need another motion, please.
I make a motion to declare a weapon Glock Model 45 9mm serial number CDAX693 and a fire services helmet Carnes serial number 211-48855 as surplus, sold for $1 and presented to retired Captain Brown.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Who's going to
I
pay the
am
dollar?
paying the dollar.
Ryan, would you like to say something, please?
Yes, sir. I guess at this point in my career, and you really, a lot of people don't know that I met Josiah over 25 years ago when we went to BLET together at Western Piedmont Community College. And we would eat lunch together, work out together, and I went off to Asheville. He returned to public safety, and about a year later, I joined him and was assigned to the shift he was on. And the one thing about Josiah, when we worked together, was there was kind of a joke on the shift because they always said he had the golden horseshoe. Anytime we were looking for a vehicle, looking for a person, the vehicle just so happened to be right in front of Josiah, or if he turned the corner, there would be the person walking, and next thing you know, he's checking out with them and saying they're under arrest or this or that. And that is how it went for almost every BOLA we had, and he can attest to that. But he was the type of officer that, he became a field training officer very early on because of how he handled himself, how he handled the calls, how he spoke to people and cared for people. And as you saw him progress through the ranks to where he retired as a captain, you got to see him care for people at public safety, care for the officers. He bounced around on a daily basis and spoke to everybody. So in short, the city, public safety, we lose a very good officer and a very good person. And I'd like to present you with your pistol. Thank you. And Captain Gibson's going to come up and present you your helmet.
As we all know, there's no other piece of equipment that identifies a firefighter any more than his fire helmet. And as we look at a fire helmet, there's this helmet tells a story of the journey that the firefighter's been on through his career. in multiple different helmets sometimes has different creative things on the helmet. This one particularly, if you notice, the city of Morganton's on the top and your family name's on the bottom. Both of those he swore to not tarnish when he started wearing this helmet. And Josiah, I can say, has been a very upstanding employee. It's been a pleasure to work with you for the 25, 26 years now that I have been here with you as well, working for you and through our whole career. It's been a pleasure, and I'm proud to present you your fire helmet. Thank you. Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't know that Israel and I went to fire school together to begin with, too. It's been a long time, and yes, I beat Ryan in the BLET physical.
And you kept your hair.
Thank you, guys.
Josiah, thanks so much.
Thank you, Josiah. Wow.
It's always scary when you let them have a microphone, so. Next, we have a resolution honoring Kyle Goforth in retirement. I don't believe Kyle is with us, but I'd like to read that resolution. Whereas Kyle Goforth joined the City of Morganton as a public safety officer in the Department of Public Safety on May 7th, 2012. And whereas Kyle Goforth has faithfully served and given of his time and effort for the citizens of the City of Morganton for 13 years and 4 months. And whereas Kyle Goforth retired from the City of Morganton as PSO Special Assignment 3, assigned to criminal investigations in the Morganton Department of Public Safety on January 1st, 2026. And whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Kyle Goforth and express their appreciation for his leadership, service, and a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Morganton that the mayor present this resolution to Kyle Goforth in recognition of his dedicated service and lasting contributions to the City of Morganton. Adopted this 5th day of January 2026. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor. Sally Sandy, City Manager. I need a motion to adopt the resolution.
Motion to adopt a resolution honoring retiree Kyle Goforth.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Our next retirement is a retirement honoring James Hildebrand. I'd like to read that resolution. Whereas James Hildebrand joined the City of Morganton as a maintenance worker in the City of Morganton Municipal Auditorium on May 1st, 2000, and whereas James Hildebrand has faithfully served and given of his time and efforts for the citizens of the City of Morganton for 25 years and 5 months, and whereas during his tenure, James has been an outstanding advocate for the city, sharing his historical knowledge of Performing Arts Center with all that visit Morganton, and whereas James Hildebrand's ability to make friends and share a love of the arts has served the city well, and whereas James Hildebrand has retired from the City of Morganton on January 1st, 2026, and whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of James Hildebrand and express their appreciation for his service and a job well done, now therefore be it resolved by the City of Morganton that the mayor presents this resolution to James Hildebrand in recognition of his dedicated service to the City of Morganton. Adopted this 5th day of January 2026. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor. Sally Sandy, City Manager. And I don't believe James is with us. Oh, okay, James, if you'll come forward. I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in. James, if you'll come forward. And I am going to ask Molly McKay to please make that presentation.
As she does, Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution honoring retiree James Hildebrand.
Thank you so much. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
It's certainly my privilege to present this resolution to you. Many people go to the theater and watch the performance out front and enjoy the performance and the magic that presents. And very few people realize that it's people like you that makes that magic possible. So thank you for your dedication and your service. We all appreciate your work and what you've contributed to the city. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, all I can say is I appreciate the opportunity to serve the city for 25 years plus, and I've enjoyed most of it. Most of it. We've had a few dog shows, but most of them have been great. And it's just been an honor to be there and try to keep the place dust-free and clean so nobody gets sick or has an allergy attack because of the dust. I'm gonna miss a lot of people over there, volunteers, staff, Sharon and the team, and we've got a good team right now. You have as good a team as I've been part of over the 25 years. So keep up the good work. I'll be around.
James, thanks for all you do.
James.
Okay, who's got Shane? Okay. Okay, next we have Shane Roper and resolution. Okay, a resolution honoring Shane Roper. Whereas Shane Roper joined the city of Morganton as a pipe mechanic for distribution and collection system in the Water Resources Department on April 10th, 2000. And whereas Shane Roper was promoted to senior distribution and collection systems operator on July 1st, 2004. And whereas Shane Roper joined the wastewater treatment plant team on September 15th, 2015 as a compost operator and served until retirement. And whereas Shane Roper was an expert with equipment operations, he was trusted favorably with any equipment he operated and maintained while serving the city of Morganton. And whereas Shane Roper has faithfully served and given up his time and efforts for the citizens of the city of Morganton for 25 years and 5 months. And whereas Shane Roper retired from the city of Morganton on January 1st, 2026. And whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Shane Roper and express their appreciation for his service and a job well done, now therefore be it resolved by the city of Morganton that the mayor present the resolution to Shane Roper in recognition of his dedicated service to the city of Morganton, adopted this 5th day of January 2026. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager. And that, I need a motion to accept that resolution.
Motion to adopt a resolution honoring retiree Shane Roper.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Is Shane here?
He's not.
Okay.
He's not.
Shane was not able to join us. Okay. Under public advocacy, we have a proclamation, the historical significance of Morganton in commemoration of America's 250th anniversary. I'm going to ask Butch McSwain if he will read that proclamation and present it.
I will, but this is a big deal. I think I'd like to come over where I can address the group that's here representing them tonight real quickly.
You may be excused.
I'll take the demerit for my phone ringing. I can't imagine how that happened.
We're going to ask Ed Phillips to accept this proclamation.
And I know this is a little different. I think some of your group ought to stand up here with us. We want that picture made. There is that one word in this. Oh, yeah. If I can get it out where I can see it. This is a proclamation recognizing the historical significance of Morganton in commemoration of America's 250th anniversary. As an aside, I'm on the committee with this group. And for those of us that are old enough to remember the bicentennial, we're trying to create the enthusiasm and fervor we had then. So I'd urge everyone to get involved in this. Seeing it so actively on all the football games this weekend was a great thing. Whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of the United States of America, and whereas the United States semi-quincentennial provides a once-in-generation opportunity for reflection upon the nation's founding ideals of liberty, democracy, and civic responsibility, and for honoring the people, places, and events that have shaped our shared American history. Whereas the city of Morganton, named for General Daniel Morgan, a distinguished leader of the American Revolutionary War, holds a significant place in the history of North Carolina and the United States, with strong ties to the Revolutionary era, including the Overmountain men who mustered in this region prior to their participation in the pivotal Battle of Kings Mountain on October 7th, 1780, and the Battle of Cowpens on January 17th, 1781. And whereas Morganton is the home to notable historic resources, including the historic Burke County Courthouse in 1837, and the Charles McDowell House from 1812, and numerous early settlements, sites, and structures that reflect the growth, perseverance, and heritage of this community. And whereas the America 250 Committee, the Burke County 250 Committee, our local, has been established to recognize, promote, and coordinating local activities that honor Burke County's historic contributions and to engage residents and visitors in meaningful and inclusive commemoration of the semi-quincentennial. And whereas the committee seeks to preserve and share local history through educational programs, commemorative events, heritage tours, community storytelling, and public engagement initiatives that strengthen the civic pride and historical understanding. Now therefore, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor of the City of Morganton, do hereby proclaim the Morganton City Council recognize and affirm the historical significance of the City of Morganton in the founding and shaping of the United States of America, and to support and ongoing efforts of Burke County's American 250 Committee. And be it further proclaimed that the City of Morganton encourage all residents, schools, businesses, civic organizations, faith-based organizations, and historical institutions to participate in America 250 observances that highlight Morganton's unique role in the American story. And be it further proclaimed that the City of Morganton shall commemorate America's 250th anniversary with dignity, respect, and broad public participation, ensuring that this historical legacy is preserved, shared, and celebrated for the benefit of present and future generations. In witness thereof, the mayor sets his hand and calls the seal of the City of Morganton to be affixed the 5th day of January 2006, signed by Ronnie Thompson and Renee Carsman. Ed?
I hereby proclaim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank
Ed,
you.
I'll present this and you can get it back in there. Thank you very much.
I'll get it back in there.
Thank you, everybody.
Can we get a picture in front of the council, and the council hold up their props?
Oh, was this a prop?
No ammo.
Butch doesn't have his.
Oh, Butch doesn't have his. He didn't take it with him.
In the interest of time, while you guys are coming up front, let me give you an update on America 250 in Burke County. So there was kicked off with the Rev War encampment on September 27th. September 26th, we had a historic site tour of 4 significant historic sites in Burke County. We also participated in the Morganton Christmas Parade. And just starting tomorrow, Burke County 4th graders will be involved in a Burke County America 250 flag design contest, where they will design a flag and it will be judged, and then our committee here will select a winner that will go to the state and represent Burke County at the state level. We're also working on a Liberty tree planting project that will be selected, a site here in Burke County that must be on public property, where it will be responsibility of the land manager to get that tree to a growth height where it will survive, and we will do that early. We're also working on a 4th of July celebration of some sort. We're also working on a time capsule, and there's only, in 1976, there was only one time capsule set in Burke County, and that was in Hildebrand. And that's gonna be opened on or about July 4th this year. But we're contemplating a new time capsule that will then go forth for another 50 years. We're also looking at additional historic site tours representing the significance of Burke County. So thank you guys for the resolution. We really appreciate it, and this will kick us off even further for this year.
I don't like guns.
Careful where you aim that thing.
Sally's ear.
Yeah, look at this.
Have you guys on the front kind of shift this way a little bit.
I get Ken in this picture because all of his county.
That's great. That's great right there.
You know that.
On three, 1, 2, and 3. I got it.
Thank you.
We have to return this.
Anything in here, you allow people to bring weapons in this place.
Glad to know they were props. I thought we were taking some kind of trouble tonight.
Okay. Okay, we just had a session concerning the history of Burke County. I'm going to call on Mr. Anthony Starr, the Western Piedmont Council of Governments Executive Director, to talk about the future of Burke County and our four-region area, which is a very, very, very important topic, Anthony. Thank you for being here. Could you please share with us an update on the IBT?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor, and thank you for allowing me to join you this evening. As always, as the Council of Governments, we're appreciative of the partnership and support with you and your city manager and your whole team. You've got a great team here. I don't have to tell you that. Of course, we're grateful Mr. Jernigan serving on our board and executive committee as well, and his leadership in the region. So let me talk a little bit about interbasin transfers, or IBTs as they're called today. This is a really, as you mentioned, Mayor, a very important issue for our area. So I'll talk a little bit about IBTs, the Catawba River Basin, Charlotte Water's request to transfer water out of the basin, the alternatives, our coalition, and the legislative study that's underway. For the benefit of the public, I'd point out what an interbasin transfer is. And it's a process where a local utility withdraws water from a river basin, in this case the Catawba River Basin, and uses it in its system, transfers and discharges that water into another river basin without returning it. If they return the water after it's gone through treatment process, that doesn't count as an IBT. But this case, they want to transfer it over from the Catawba to the Yadkin Rocky River Basin. So we've done a great deal of research on this already, and what the academic resources say is that this is not a good thing for source basins like the Catawba River Basin. It provides both negative impacts on the economic and environmental front, according to the research. Now, Charlotte Water has a 33 million gallons per day IBT certificate. Concord Kannapolis has about 20 million, of which 10 million comes from the Catawba, and then Mooresville has a grandfathered IBT of about 9.5 million. And this is what the map looks like in the North Carolina between the river basins and how they're regulated. You'll note there that the Catawba River Basin is one of the smaller river basins in the state. Now, the Catawba River Basin actually was the first river in the United States completely planned and developed for electricity production. And started out in the early 20th century and completed with the creation of Lake Norman in 1963, about 1,800 miles of shoreline. It's the most densely populated river basin in North Carolina. It serves about 2 million people through 18 different utilities. Now, the key takeaway here is that the Catawba River Basin is a threatened river. In fact, twice it's been named as the most endangered river in America over the last 20 years. And that is mainly due to the quote, unprecedented demand for clean water due to exponential population growth of the Charlotte metro area in North and South Carolina. So we have that to contend with. And then you throw in conditions like drought conditions, right? What does that mean for us? Well, this chart that I'm showing you, the way to read this chart is, this is the U.S. Drought Monitor of drought conditions in North Carolina dating back to 1998. The way to read it is the higher the bars are on the chart during that time period, the greater percentage of North Carolina was under drought conditions. The darker the colors, the more severe the drought was. So in 98 to 2002, we had a very severe drought, and in 07, 09, we had a very severe drought. Why is that important for our water systems? This is a diagram our engineering team put together. You see the water treatment plant there at the top on the right. They pump water out of our reservoirs during drought conditions. It goes from the blue line there as normal elevation, and it gets closer and closer to that red line. And that red line represents a lake level or river level where we have to have a certain amount of water above our water intakes for our water systems to function properly. Without that, we can't function, and then we don't have public water supply in that scenario, and we want to obviously avoid that. In the 98 to 2002 drought, it was one of the largest documented precipitation deficits on record, and it was primarily concentrated in our part of the state. That map that show there, the way to read that, it has to deal with water flows rates. The pink areas are where the most severe droughts occurred during that time frame. And during that time, Duke Energy said that water intakes in some reservoirs would be exposed if the drought had lasted another year from its 4 years. Now, the 2007-2009 drought was the most severe drought ever in North Carolina history. And at the same time, we've got documented where the city of Hickory was trying to reduce its water usage by 20%. We saw portions of the basin drop by over 8 to 10 feet during that time frame, as many of you, and Miss Sandy certainly was the manager here when we were going through all that, and the precautions we had to take and the measures to employ to protect our water sources. Lake Norman dropped during that time frame to just 3.1 feet above the cooling intake for the nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, Charlotte continued pulling water from the Catawba River and still, to this day, loses more than 19% of every gallon it takes from the Catawba River. In fact, that's about 23 million gallons per day that it loses through leaks in its system. Now, Charlotte Water might say, the IBT isn't a big deal. This is just part of the process, all that, and it's not really significant. What we would say is point out this fact that Charlotte Water published its water conservation goals for extreme droughts of 10 to 20% in water reduction during those times. They use about 125 million gallons per day. So that equates to about a 12.5 to 25 million gallon conservation target. And their potential IBT is 63 million gallons. So what they are proposing is to transfer 2.5 to 5 times more water than they hope to conserve during extreme droughts. So either this is a big deal or their conservation targets are inadequate. One of those two things are occurring. So about their request. So they're currently transferred 33 million gallons per day from a certificate they were issued in 2002. That was supposed to last until 2030. They want to increase it now to 63 million gallons perhaps. And if you look at the map on the right side, that's Mecklenburg County. They pull the water out of the red dots from the intakes. They treat it at the blue squares there. That's their treatment plants. And then they're transferring across that purple line on the eastern side of Mecklenburg County, which flows to the Rocky River and Yadkin River basins. That results in, if you count the 30 million gallons per day that they want to increase it, and conservatively, in other words, estimating high on the usage, what that would translate to, that basically means they want to put another 300,000 people in eastern Mecklenburg County. That's approaching what our population is for our entire region at 375,000 people in our 4-county area. So this has lots of consequences for our region. It's driven a lot by the growth on the eastern side of Charlotte. As you see there, the population increases in surrounding counties, and it comes at a cost to western North Carolina that we're significantly concerned about. Now, previous studies that Morganton belongs to a group called the Catawba Water Management Group, as do the other water producing utilities up and down the river chain in North and South Carolina, and it does studies to plan for coordination of utilizing the river system and planning ahead. And the last time it did its water supply plan, which is in the process of updating now, but in 2014, that plan cited studies that said that by mid-century, the Catawba River Basin's reservoirs, the safe yield for those reservoirs would be exhausted. That's 2050. Due mostly to the continued population economic growth, and that would be unsustainable once we reach that point during drought conditions. That safe yield becomes very important during drought conditions. Keep in mind also, our engineers have looked at the availability of water in the Catawba River, and we've mapped all the water flows going back to the 1960s. and charted that, and it shows that actually it's not even. Actually, the flow of the Catawba River appears to be decreasing over the last half century. So we're using more of the water, and Charlotte wants to transfer more water out of the Catawba River Basin at the same time while the water flow is decreasing over time. This results in concentrations of pollutants and can drive up the cost of our treatment of all the utility systems up and down the chain when the water levels drop, and it results in lower flows. Now, at the same time, water rates in Charlotte are more affordable as a percentage of median household income than 90% of other North Carolina utilities. And Charlotte customers pay less the same amount of water at the same time they're losing 19% of their water. This chart on the right side shows the black dot is the median affordability for all utilities in North Carolina. The blue dot is the utilities in our region. We do well. We're more affordable than the state average. And then you see Charlotte all the way over the left side, the orange dot, and that shows that they basically have a very cost-effective system and very cheap water rates. Now, normally, I'd say great for them. That's good. But they want to use that at our expense by transferring the water out of it. And so this means that interbasin transfers means cheaper water for Charlotte and more expensive water at the same time for everyone else in the Catawba River Basin. Now, the legal impacts of this is the more of these IBTs, especially the large ones that we approve, the more precedent this creates. And so that's why we have to resist this and consider the long-term implications of it all. And so what are the alternatives? Well, Charlotte's already looked at that. They looked at them in 2002, and they want to keep doing what they're doing now, which is transferring water over to the Rocky and Yadkin River basins, which results in maximum harm to other communities in the Catawba River Basin, maximum benefit to Charlotte. They have two primary options. There may be others, but there's two primary options they can take to avoid this IBT. One is to purchase or take water from the Yadkin River Basin, or return the water after they've used it through the wastewater treatment process back to the Catawba River Basin. Because again, that doesn't count if you return the water. They looked at the cost of that back in 2001, and the cost of one of those options, or each of those options, was $16 or $82 million each. And they didn't choose that. Now they're saying, according to their estimates, that each option is over $800 million each. You do one of those options to solve the problem. Now, that's a 10 to 50 times increase over that 20-year period. We're not saying we accept those estimates at this point, but even if you did for the purposes of this argument, consider that they have a $651 million annual budget, and they plan about $2.3 billion in capital projects over the next 5 years. According to avoiding an IBT would only require about a 12% increase in their Charlotte Water capital budget over the next 15 years to avoid that IBT or eliminate it. So at the same time, they've not invested in those water source projects in the 21st century. They've backed recently a sales tax increase for transit infrastructure. They received COVID money of $141 million that they did not use on infrastructure that they could have. And bottom line, Charlotte pays less for water. They receive federal funds for water infrastructure. They supported a tax increase for other non-water infrastructure. They have the means, they just don't have the desire to pursue alternatives for water. Now, in response, local governments in our region and McDowell County have formed a coalition to resist this and its negative impacts on our communities. Morganton is part of that coalition, and the Council of Governments is coordinating that effort at the request of our local governments in those 5 counties. And our key points would be is our region's future could be limited because of these large IBTs. And we're not opposed to Charlotte growing, we just don't want it to occur at our expense. And the limited resources of the Catawba River should not be used to subsidize huge growth outside of our river basin. And Charlotte should implement policies and infrastructure to avoid the IBT. And lastly, IBTs are going to make the impacts of our severe droughts worse for our communities. Now, last year we were successful in getting House Bill 850 passed, which placed a moratorium on large interbasin transfers exceeding 15 million gallons from increasing until March of '27. It also directed that the North Carolina Collaboratory at UNC Chapel Hill to study the issue, and they're supposed to study the statutory process for approval of surface water transfers such as this, and provide recommendations. We've got a series of recommendations we want them to look at, and we're engaged with them on. One would be a shot clock, to use a basketball term, for large interbasin transfers, where once you initiate IBT, you've got a 15 or a 20-year period of time to build the infrastructure necessary to eliminate your IBT or avoid it. And then second is a percentage of their income ought to be placed into a drought mitigation fund for impacted communities to use if an IBT is approved within that relevant basin. That could be used to lower the intakes for the water system or provide interconnections between utility systems that would allow them to operate in emergency conditions during droughts. So what we're asking our utility members, coalition members to do is to engage with your state legislators to use using these key points. We'll have additional data and points for you along the way. Also, we're going to send you more information about engaging with UNC Collaboratory to share your local perspective and a letter as they gear up with that study that will be due in early 2027. The next 50 years of growth in our region will be determined by this issue. So we want to make sure everyone uses every opportunity to keep this issue at the forefront, because it really impacts both our future, our children's future, and our grandchildren's future, especially poignant that we're considering 250 years of history for our country. Thinking about the history makes me think about, Mayor, as you mentioned, the future and what it lies and what we leave behind for our successors and our children and grandchildren. So I'll be glad to answer any questions of the council.
Questions for council? I do have one, Anthony. Most of that water going into Lake Norman for them to draw obviously originates pretty much in Lake James through the Catawba River and Limble River, which means they'll actually have to get more water down there. They've got to draw Lake James down, Lake Roadhiss, Lake Lookout to get it into Lake Norman. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So the river system is managed by Duke Energy.
Correct.
And so it's very much interrelated. And so to maintain those necessary water levels for public utility intakes, they will move the water up and down the chain accordingly to provide adequate water. And what we saw in those previous droughts is that Lake James is our last line of defense when it comes to droughts, severe droughts. It is our fail-safe. And so if we pull down too much water, that's our Alamo in terms of water supply.
Thank you. Other questions? We really encourage the public to get involved in this, contacted their legislatures in Raleigh, because eventually they'll have the say-so on issuing that. No, it's the Environmental Management Commission, correct?
So we're asking to change the law in North Carolina so that these large IBTs are temporary and not permanent, but the study will do it. But the Environmental Management Commission is the entity that the General Assembly has designated as the one that approves or disapproves these requests.
Will your PowerPoint be available on our website? I think that's important. It's very good.
Thank you.
Great information. Keep up the struggle. We're for you, and we hope we can do anything we can do. Please let us know.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, under public policy, upcoming events in our city hall downtown, the Art in the Hall. The January features Tracy Gransrobe. She is formerly trained in oils, but in the last decade has been drawn to acrylics. Tracy is a Granite Falls, North Carolina-based artist. At Comma, our Performing Arts Center, on Friday, January 23rd at 7:30, is a performance by Georgette Jones. Okay, next on our agenda is the consent agenda, I believe.
Yes, that includes 7 items for you to consider as one action on all of those, unless someone would like an item discussed separately. For folks viewing at home, that includes minutes from the December 1st meeting, tax releases in the amount of $433,470.93, and that was a double listing that happened that the county had sent to us. And then also a resolution approving our 2024 local water supply plan, timely, considering what we just heard. And that is something, and it's always behind, the dates are behind because we have to wait on the state for them to approve that, to let us do that. And then approving amendments to the pay range and the title for Special Projects Manager. That would be effective tomorrow. We are removing the ARPA parts of that position and removing that because that is thankfully coming to an end. And also a budget amendment appropriating funds $94,688, and that is to cover retiree health insurance premium increases, employee health insurance contributions, more for them to contribute the same as our employees are contributing, and then dental insurance renewal. Then we have been asked to approve the Morganton ABC Board travel policy. They have submitted that. That is required by state ABC, that we confirm that policy for them. And then approval of a resolution of support for NCDOT to make pedestrian safety improvements at West Fleming Drive around Catalyst Way intersection, the intersection at School of Science and Math and the School for the Deaf, where accidents have occurred.
Do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? If not, I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, under new business, we have a consideration of award of a contract for engineering services for the Low Weir Dam and the water treatment plant. Sally?
So this is continuation of Hurricane Helene items. I believe, although no, we've got the Greenway left, never mind. I was gonna say we were nearing the end, but we're not quite. This is contracting for engineering, design, bid, and then contract administration services from Garver Engineering in an amount not to exceed $126,974. And that is for them to design and put out to bid for us the repair and rehabilitation of the head wall and the embankment that's at the Low Weir, that's downstream of the Low Weir. It's near our raw water intake. And this is a result of some damage that happened at that facility during Helene. It's an earthen wall down there and then some appurtenances attached to it. We're trying to, in the design, not only make improvements and repairs, but to look if there's a way to make any of it more resilient in the future. And so that's a part of everything we're trying to do in the FEMA process. And would like to issue this contract so we can get to work on that. Again, we're trying to work through the FEMA grant process for this project to ultimately be funded by them.
Okay. What's the wish of council?
I make a motion to approve and authorize a contract, work order 2026-01 with Garver Engineering in the amount not to exceed $126,974 for engineering services to provide design, bid, and contract administration for improvements and repair to the raw water weir abutment wall at the water treatment plant.
Thank you, Butch. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is the consideration of an amendment for the Silver Creek Pump Station. Sally?
It wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about it. So this is change order number 4 with this contract. And this too is occurring based on some of the design changes and construction changes that we made after Helene. And this is dealing with safety standards and requirements. And this is associated with handrails at the new wet well. And it is an OSHA requirement, and so the amount of this change order is $10,554.55, making our total contract just a little over $6.5 million. And this too is something that we are continuing to try to work with FEMA on for reimbursement.
What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to approve an amendment, change order number 4, to the existing contract with Brushy Mountain Builders for the construction of the Silver Creek Sewer Pump Station Upgrade Project in the amount of $10,554.55, bringing the new total contract amount to $6,509,848.01.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. I need a second motion, please.
Motion to approve a budget amendment transferring contingency in the amount of $10,544.55 to the construction expense account for the Silver Creek Sewer Pump Station upgrade project.
Thank you, Wendy. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Okay, Butch, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, next is consideration of award of a contract for professional design and engineering services for our Performing Arts Center. I'll call on Sharon Jablonski to give us an update and some information.
So we had done a master plan for Comma, I think now about 3.5 years ago, and we've been trying to do things that we can do in-house and at a better price, and so you allowed us to do the audio system, which has made a huge difference and is recognized by everybody that attends. We would like to tackle another, which is still back of house. The primary would be putting in a new loading dock. I will say again, and I've tried to come up with other ways to fix this, but when a truck backs in, we can take one truck. Anybody, even not just Broadway, will have 2 to 4 trucks. Some of them have 5. So on top of that, the truck sits here, the loading dock sits here. And you've got crews of sometimes 50 people back there, and so it's not the best of things. With that being said, we'd like to hire SoStack, I hope that's pronounced correctly, design out of Raleigh. They did, out of Durham. They did the Performing Arts Center down there. And he has a very good knowledge of loading docks. I know that sounds strange. It can't be just a little Butler building. It really does have to fit. They have to know how to bring the equipment in, how it unloads, how it comes in, and how it fits with our building. So that's really the main thing of this, and it will require mechanical systems and plumbing, because I was even kind of tore up with the cost of doing business, but everything is just through the roof. But with this, we would like to do some interiors like crew restrooms, crew lounge, office storage. It's not that they have a crew lounge, but you have to remember that sounds fancy. It's just that literally when they built the Comma in '86, they never thought about storage. They never thought about restrooms for 50 crew people back there. They have to use the restrooms that are out in the lobby. And you know when they get free? When the people in the audience get free. So I've yet to figure out how they've worked it out, but here we go. So also with this, we're looking at the ADA compliant front doors. I can't obviously tear apart the whole thing. I am just praying that we can build within the framework. That's why we also need an architect, and maybe drop the 4th door and just get 3 larger doors in. And then with that, some of the interiors they'll help us with, and in terms of the dressing room finishes, new laundry room. I will say that while it's not listed in SoStack, we will work individually with the service provider, because I've had a lot of questions about this, for new seating. We know the seating is about 2 inches too small, and but we can work with multiple service providers and get as solid a price on that without having to pay a designer to do that, because, that's what they do. So, and the main thing with Comma is we've got to stay at 1,000 seats. So, anyway, if you will, we'd like to engage with them and get this started.
And we did an RFQ process as required by state law.
And this is already in the budget, correct?
Yes, $200,000 is in the budget for this. The fee is $208,000, and we are proposing transferring $8,000 from the marketing line item to make this one have enough.
Okay, any questions for Sharon?
Glad it's happening.
Amen.
I don't know what show was just there, but there were like five trucks, in that parking lot, and I don't know how they even maneuvered inside that parking lot, yeah.
And the sound system is wonderful now, so thank you so much. Any other questions for Sharon? What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to approve a contract for design and engineering services for SoStack Design Incorporated in the amount of $208,000 and to authorize the mayor and/or city manager to execute such contract and any other necessary documents.
Thank you, Molly. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next is consideration of approval of a resolution and ordinance amending certain downtown parking regulations. Sharon, would you bring us up to date, please?
When you get your 35-year PIN, you gotta work hard for it.
You know, I'm telling you. And these people, they get to retire at 25 years. I don't get it. You know, parking is probably why I should retire. I am just going to say this. I knew that when we did the program that we were going to find some holes that really just hadn't been looked after, okay? So what I'm asking for here is to correct it, to really balance it on some places where one block should match the other block, where it just made sense for convenience. Obviously, the handicap space is very much needed down on the 300 block of South Green. I will say that the 600 block of South Green owned by the Irwins, they originally requested us to put that in many years ago, and now they're requesting us to take it out, so, you know, neither here nor there. And I really think that's the biggie. We'll let it ride. The changes need to be made to be more in compliance, so.
Thank you. Questions for Sharon? Yeah, I'm glad making these determinations, because let's get it in place so everybody understands what the rules are.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
The number one question I'm being asked. People come in, they park at 8 o'clock in the morning. They leave at 10 and they go do something. They come back at 3, okay, and then they stay till 4:30. But they park in the same area, the same stretch of road, the same block, okay? That went over your 3-hour limit. Just because you moved your car and went away doesn't mean that you haven't violated a 3-hour stint. Okay, I know that's hard, but this system doesn't, it reads it that way. And so it knows that you've left and it knows that you've come back and you're in the same block. So that's not gonna change.
Are we still in the warning ticket phase, or we?
Today went to full-fledged tickets.
Okay. Because I had a call this afternoon, so I just want to make sure we're in it.
I'm sure.
Any other questions? Let's see. Do I have a motion? What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution approving the recommended amendments to downtown parking regulations.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Butch. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need a second motion, please.
Motion to adopt an ordinance amending Appendix 1 of the Code of Ordinances to remove certain timed parking designations and to add a designated handicapped parking space.
Thank you, Wendy. I have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We do not have any more budget amendments now, correct?
We are not doing Helene budget amendments this time, but that means I can assure you we'll have some next time.
Okay.
Something to look forward to.
We have consideration of appointment to the Fireman's Relief Fund Board. And so what's the wish of council?
I will make a motion to reappoint Jesse Paris and Israel Gibson to the Fireman's Relief Fund Board for terms to expire January 15th, 2028.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have some vacancies that will exist on the Morganton Housing Authority. 2 seats, Brian Black and Teresa Dehart, are members of the expiring terms. Gesundheit, whoever that was. So those are a 30-day notice that there will be vacancies. Anything else to come before the board? If not, we're adjourned.